Hey everyone, welcome to Marketing Monday, the final Marketing Monday for 2017. Just checking out a few little fun face filters, but let me just go ahead and switch back to the normal filter. Anyhow, if today is your first time to tune in Marketing Monday, I'm Helene, CEO and founder of Hashtagitude, a digital marketing agency based in downtown Denver. So we help. Right now, I would say the pitch that we're working on is that we'd like to say that we help businesses with their event marketing through not only digital but also photography, videography, graphic design if they need it for marketing materials, and so forth. So, of course, like I said, that's a work in progress in terms of our pitch and just trying to niche down a little more. But I mean, in the last couple of years of being in business, we have helped a lot of small businesses with their social media, SEO, paid search, etc. So, and most of them have been based in Denver, but we've worked with a few clients in Los Angeles area and also New York area. So, coast to coast, we work with businesses all over. Anyhow, get interactive with us. Whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, tell us in the comments below your name, where you're watching from, meaning like your home, your office, a coffee shop, a restaurant, subway, etc. I mean subway meaning train, and what you want to accomplish before New Year's Day. Since today is December 11th, almost halfway through December, and there's only a couple more Mondays, I believe, a couple more Mondays until the new year. So tell us in the comments below, what are you hoping to accomplish before the calendar switches over 2018? So if you tuned into last week's broadcast and also read the blog post, last week we focused on looking back on this year. Despite the fact that we were looking back on, I would say, 11 months worth of 2017, some new developments occurred already with Instagram announcing quite a few changes last week. One of them being being able to share your stories indefinitely on Instagram. So instead of having it be a 24-hour limit, you can go ahead and just keep your stories running indefinitely if you want. If you want people to see a little intro story of you, etc. Anyhow, this week, we're looking forward with 8 predictions that our team, both Ryan and I, came up with. 8 predictions for 2018, plus, as I mentioned earlier, this is the last broadcast for the year. We're going to take off the next couple weeks, at least from Marketing Monday related activities. We'll still be doing a little bit of client work next week and taking off the week of Christmas. So that's what we have for today. So, like I said, these are our predictions. No, none of them were like research from other publications or blogs, etc. These are our predictions because usually I like to look at other websites' predictions at the end of the year or beginning of the year. But I figured for this broadcast, I would not taint our predictions with others' influence. So the overall theme of these 8 predictions is technology moving forward, focus on quality content over quantity in terms of social media and also content marketing. And, businesses have had basically a year or two to get used to the idea of pay to play. And I'd say that in 2018, that is definitely going to be more of a requirement than just something nice to know. With that in mind, okay, prediction number 1, more augmented reality. So even though Pokemon Go launched in 2016, so last year, augmented reality will be a bigger focus in 2018. From an earlier blog post this year of ours, we stated that marketing can become more interactive. Imagine walking by a store and holding your phone to the sign and receiving the store's latest sale or most popular item. augmented reality or AR would identify the sign and flash a store's latest sales or direct you to the highest selling item. So I'll drop in the comments below after this broadcast which blog post I'm referring to, and you can read more about our thoughts with AR and also VR or virtual reality on that post. So be prepared for more augmented reality, more face filters, more whatnot, more use cases that we could potentially use in marketing and in business in general. So prediction number 2. Snapchat may be no longer. So it might be cliche to predict the demise of a social media network, considering so many people in the marketing industry have predicted the end of Twitter over the last 3-4 years. And, I like to make a little musical reference here, and I guess a little joke, but Twitter is singing Elton John's song, "I'm Still Standing," because they're still standing, despite the fact that they have lost some users, etc. They're still around. People have predicted that Twitter would be gone back even in 2014 or 15, but anyhow. The reason why I predict Snapchat may be no longer, their growth has slowed drastically over the course of 2017, and as we mentioned last week in the broadcast and also in last week's blog post, Snap's Spectacles product failed to really generate too much revenue for the company. A lot of the news that is coming out from Snap in the more recent months has been their focus on advertising, which understandably is a way to monetize the platform, but in terms of catering to its users, I would say that, from my personal experience, not many of my friends use Snapchat anymore. And, active users is a big deal for a lot of these social media networks because, if the advertisers aren't getting eyeballs on their ads, then advertisers are going to pull out. So we shall see what happens with Snapchat. I know that for some people, they still prefer Snapchat because of the fact that it's a little more of a closed network versus a free-for-all. But we'll see. That's prediction number 2. No more Snapchat. So let me know in the comments below what you think about that prediction. Prediction number 3. Twitter will finally introduce the edit button for tweets. Okay, so this is a little wish list item of mine. It's been a wish list item for the last several years. Hi, Melissa. I see you're here. Just talking about predictions for 2018 in marketing. So we're on number 3. Prediction number 3 is, Twitter will finally introduce the edit button. It's odd that Twitter has not implemented this feature. It has probably the most requested feature from avid users of the platform. Most people, of course, every time Twitter comes out with something, a new feature, people are like, okay, where's the edit button? When Twitter got rid of the character count limit on their images per tweet or expanding their tweets to 280 characters, etc., people kept asking, where's the edit button? Of course, now that I talked this through, I feel like Twitter probably has been very intentional about not having that edit button because they'd prefer for people to, tweet at the tweet as they go versus crafting a very nicely well-written message. But of course, I would say an edit button would be good, at least like a very temporary one right after sending a tweet, because I know that I have made a few typos here and there, and it would have just been nice to change that little typo versus retyping that same tweet over again. So, prediction number 3, of course, like I said, that's a wish list item of mine. Prediction number 4, Meetup.com and its app will become more dynamic with WeWork acquiring it. So a couple weeks ago, WeWork acquired Meetup. So Meetup sold themselves off to WeWork, which is a big co-working conglomerate focused on collaboration all over, because they also have a co-housing development, I believe, in Brooklyn or somewhere in New York City. And so, anyhow, we will probably see more integrations between the two businesses on their apps, their websites, etc. Perhaps for the current community organizers or people who are running meetup groups right now, they will get some perks to host their events at WeWork locations, of course, if it's convenient to them. Personally, the Meetup app has been needing some help. It did get a revamp earlier this year, but I'd say that I barely use the app even then. Website's still a little clunky, so it will be interesting to see what WeWork does to improve the experience for Meetup members and users. Prediction number 5. So live streaming will be more robust. Of course, fingers crossed that net neutrality will stay put and that we can all enjoy faster internet to be able to broadcast and view live stream in the new year onward. Because, of course, if things go the other direction with net neutrality, we may not see as much live streaming after all, because people may not be able to even load up live stream videos. So anyhow, live streaming will be more robust. LinkedIn has been rumored to enter the game. Of course, they're a little late to the game of live streaming since Periscope came around and almost 3 years ago now, and Facebook Live has been around, so et cetera, et cetera. But even then, that'll be interesting to see LinkedIn enter into the live streaming game, and it'll be interesting to see how people will utilize live streaming on LinkedIn, since it's considered a more professional network. Instagram also recently introduced split screen Instagram Live, so you can go live on Instagram, and if your friends also pop in and they request to be like split screen with you, you both can be live at the same time, and your individual audiences will see the broadcast on both feeds. So, as you can see with these, I would say this is similar to how Google Hangouts on air operates, and also is a little reminiscent of the now defunct platform called blab.im. So we'll see what happens with live streaming, but I would say that you'll see a lot more videos popping up, and of course there'll be a lot more noise coming through. Not saying that all live streams are bad, but you just want to make sure that if you are wanting to hop into the live streaming game, have a good strategy and make sure that the content is quality and you're not just going on live just to ramble on, because I would say that's what happened when Periscope first came around. People just got on live because they wanted to ramble. Prediction number 6. Google will crack down on non-responsive websites even more. So getting away from the whole social media realm, a lot of the predictions so far have been focused on social media, but social media permeates a lot of areas of our lives. Anyhow, with prediction number 6, Google, to be blunt, if you still have a non-responsive website in 2017, you should consider getting that website up to date and responsive. And what I mean by responsive is make sure your website is viewable on a phone. Non-responsive websites are still viewable on phones and mobile devices, but no one really wants to pinch in and zoom in to see what your website says in this day and age. And Google, ever since early 2016, announced that they were going to dock search results for websites that were not mobile responsive. So, if you don't care about your search ranking or the fact that Google is basically penalizing your website because of the fact that it's not responsive, you may as well not be in business. And, of course, that's a blunt statement to make, but if you don't have a responsive website in this day and age, it's a little tough to get people to visit your website, especially since so many more people are visiting websites and whatnot through their phones these days. So, have a responsive website. If you don't know how to do that, contact a website developer. I have a few references that you could contact and invest in updating your website. Prediction number 7. So next to last prediction. All right, Instagram will add a regram button natively. So if you're familiar with Instagram, you use Instagram on a regular basis. There are already a lot of third-party apps out there that allow for regramming. And what regramming is, if you're not familiar with it, is if you see, let's say, for instance, you're a knitting pattern designer. This is a very good example. You see that a fellow Instagram user has, they bought your pattern, they made your pattern, and like now they're showing it off on Instagram with your hashtag and whatnot. You want to share with your audience, like, look, this is how the design looks like, and someone else did it. I didn't pay them to do it. They're not a test knitter. Here it is. So on third-party apps right now, you can just basically copy and paste the link of that Instagram post, and then that third-party app will do the little regram banner at the bottom of the post and allow for you to share that way. But, perhaps Instagram will consider integrating this into their native app so that then basically they'll put the third-party services out of business. The ramifications of this could go south, though. So, only recently learned that there are quite a few curated content accounts available on Instagram. I personally don't like to follow those accounts, and honestly, in the business sense, I feel like those accounts are just not. If you have a business and that's what all you're doing is just curating content from others, it'll only make sense if you're creating products or services that, you want to show your audience, like, look, our customers are using our stuff, look how great it is, they're having fun, etc. But, it would make Instagram a lot noisier. So the regramming aspect, while good, because it'll keep you in the app and not have to use a third-party app, I can see it being good for certain kinds of individuals or businesses. But of course, if we just let it be a free-for-all for everyone, it may not be necessarily a very good feature to have. But Instagram could potentially be adding this regram button sooner than later. So we'll see. And now, prediction number 8, which is the last prediction. More kids on Facebook. So Facebook actually announced just last Monday that they are coming out with Messenger Kids app. So kids as young as 6 can now use that app, or use this separate app, to chat with pre-approved friends, family friends, relatives, etc. Facebook touts this. Of course, I'm doing this as a Facebook Live, and if you're watching the replay or the YouTube upload, of course, different story. But anyhow, Facebook touts this as being a good, controlled way for children to be able to interact with family and friends, and also allow for parents to have that control of who the children are chatting with and so forth. So I will share Facebook's announcement in the comments below after this broadcast. But of course, people are concerned with the privacy situation and also, inappropriate content, advertising, Facebook's moderation system, etc. And I will also share that article in the comments below. So, but if you have young children, you've been thinking okay, it might be good for them to be able to, interact with their aunts and uncles elsewhere through Facebook. This is now an opportunity to check it out. So more kids may be on Facebook Messenger and Facebook overall in 2018. So the demographics may shift from it being an older demographic and adding in the new. So we'll see. So, outro. So this week's blog post will be talking about how you and your business can prepare for the new year with these predictions we have here. And other things. We may reiterate some of these predictions in the blog post, but stay tuned. The blog post will be out Wednesday or Thursday this week. Upcoming events. So we're kicking off 2018 with our first Caffeine and Conversation on Friday, January 12th. The RSVP or the event details are in our events listing on our Facebook page, but I will go ahead and share the link below as well. Tickets are $10 and cover the cost of your caffeine of choice and breakfast. Be sure to bring your planners. It'll be a fun gathering. Also, Marketing Monday, as I mentioned, is going to be off the air for the rest of the year, so the next 2 weeks. We will be back in January, but we may actually be changing our schedule up a lot more than what we have previously mentioned. So we previously mentioned that we'll be changing the time of Marketing Monday to noon, which that will probably still be implemented, but we will be doing fewer broadcasts but focusing on higher quality. So this year has been a great year for myself, Helene, specifically to get comfortable in front of the camera. I will admit, if you go back and look at the first Marketing Monday broadcast back in March, I definitely was very nervous about being live, and having the weekly broadcast slot and, of course, thinking of weekly themes, topics, etc. has helped me with feeling more confident and getting to the habit of live streaming. However, in 2018, we want to focus on providing quality over quantity with this type of video content since, as I mentioned earlier, with the predictions that we have, the online space is just going to get noisier and noisier. And even though it's great that anyone can just get on to live stream anywhere in the world, quality also matters in terms of audio, in terms of keeping you engaged. Of course, there's been a couple times where I would have liked to have a little bubble where listing out everything that I've talked about. So we will be changing up the format of Marketing Monday a little bit in the new year. So stay tuned for that announcement. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, etc. And we'll be back in the new year. So happy holidays.